Alright y'all, got another video for y'all today. Yeah, I have to apologize, my air conditioner is running and it's quite loud. I can't believe it's 90 degrees in October still, but it is what it is. AC still going. Thank God for that. But anyway, I'm gonna do a video on this 4.5-inch angle grinder from Harbor Freight. Full disclosure, I've used it before on some light angle iron, some stuff that I was going to weld, maybe equivalent to a go-kart, the thickness of a go-kart, something like that, you know, just cutting off some stuff. Nothing too big. But here I got a project where I got a bucket of a loader here that has a divider in between the bucket. I don't know what the divider's there for. I thought maybe it was for to strengthen the bucket, you know, make it so it doesn't have any weaknesses in it. But if you look how thick this bucket is, there ain't no weaknesses in it. Somebody's already strengthened the side of it here. It's got teeth welded on it. It's got another piece of iron up underneath the lip up top. It's got hooks. They went to war with this thing, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to scoop up some wood, you know, and I just can't. Well, the forks are there, of course, but when I take the forks off, the forks are only there to pick up stuff like this. You know, trunks as big as a telephone pole, if you will. When I take these off and I want to scoop up some dirt, you know, like so, and I want to get this pile up, there's a lot of dirt in it, and basically I need to be able to scoop up, you know, stumps and, you know, things like that. And I noticed without the forks on, it was hitting this piece of metal, and I had a nice size stump, and it was harder for me to put it in the, you know, bucket. So basically I'm just going to cut that off. So I'm going to use this 4.5-inch angle grinder, which is right here, and that's the same blade that I used last time to cut some smaller stuff. If need be, I will put a larger blade on it. You know what I'm saying? Not a larger blade, but a new blade. And I have the key right here. But I'm going to see if I can get through this here. I'm going to see if I can get through it. And it's going to be quite a challenge, but we'll see. Alright, so when you start working on something like this, always wear your safety glasses. I don't have any gloves, but I don't have any gloves in my hand right now, but I got my safety glasses. If I need to go put on my gloves, I most certainly will. And I'm going to start cutting this piece of metal. Like I said, safety glasses, safety first. And I also got some ear muffs, just in case it gets a little bit loud, because I don't like a lot of noise. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens. I'll be able to tell quickly if it's what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see. I think I'll start cutting it right there. Try to cut it off. See what happens. Earplugs, put them on. And alright, so it's going through. It's probably going to take about 1.5 inches. I've only went 1.5 inches so far. So I brought out some more blades. And I got some more blades here. And I'm going to put them on the equipment. I actually bought 3 more, and they did a little work to this bed, but I'm just gonna have to take my chances because I got a lot of stuff to do, and I don't know what they were trying to do when they had this machine, you know, but I'm not doing as much as they were doing, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta try to get through this stuff, and I hope my little Harbor Freight tool holds up under this pressure here, 'cause I'm sure gonna need it. Alright, so as you see, I've gotten about over halfway through it. I'm almost all the way through it. I didn't think it was going to get this far, but putting that new blade on it really helped. It gets a little hot, so if I make it through this job, I'm going to go in here and break it down and put some more grease in here. I might even do that before I start the bottom half, which is down here, because this is almost thick as a piece of you know, 3/4 inch plywood, straight up. So I know why they put it there, to give it some, you know, stabilize the bucket, but what's the point of having a bucket if you can't get nothing in it? So that's what it's all about. So I'm just doing wood and dirt. I'm not doing no gravel and all that stuff. They probably were using it for some kind of gravel or something, crushing run or whatever, something like that, you know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is, you know. It's the old Massey Ferguson. I got to put my grill back on the front because I don't want to get the radiator damaged or anything, you know. That would be good at all. But anyway, we'll get back to it and see what we got. I got a little tip for y'all. It might be a good idea for you to take a little bit of motor oil, like so, and you know, put it in there. Put a little motor oil up above the where you're sawing at, and what that does is that allows the blade to spin a little bit faster and not get stuck, and helps keep the blade from getting so hot. And it just like a chainsaw, you know, chainsaw oil, kind of the same effect. And you know, motor oil helps everything when you're even a car, from parts, you know, getting too hot or too much abrasion. So as you see, I got about another inch to go for this part. Then I got to do it all over again at the bottom, and that might take me through another blade, but we're making progress. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the point where I'm going to start to cut at, and I'm going to take some oil and put it on this rag right here, right? Just a little bit. And then I'm going to wipe it along the area where I'm going to cut it at. And what this will do is give it a nice clean area with less abrasive rocks, and help keep the blade cool, kind of like I did up at the top. So wherever my starting point is, it'll be a little bit, it'll have a little bit of, you know, grease up there. You know, just make it a little bit better, make things run a little smoother, that's all. And then I have to make it where wherever I start to cut at, I can cut it all the way across. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't have to, like, let's say the blade is gonna go that way. So normally, I'm probably gonna have to cut it this way and go back. Alright, I just wanted to show y'all something real quick. That at a certain point, if you're cutting through some thick steel, you're going to notice that that gear has gotten a little dry. So I went in here and I broke it down. Because, see, if you look in here, you notice that most of the grease is pretty much gone from using it. And I noticed it got hotter and it's still hot. So if I want to get through this job, common sense tells me to break it down and put some grease in here, so that grease can spin around in here and go down into this little gear down at the bottom where the friction is and lubricate the whole, the whole chassis all the way up, you know what I mean? So that's just the way you got to do it. So, and the grease that you would use is probably be I got some grease over here. Just general standard lithium grease from Advance. You know what I mean? And it's kind of messy, but you take a rag, you open the top. Let me tilt this back so you can see what's going on, right? Tilt that back. Stick your finger in here, get you some grease, get you a nice little bit of grease on there, and then you just stick it in here. And you usually do this when you first buy it, right? But that grease don't last long, man. You know? It ain't gonna last, yeah, you gotta take care of your tools, right? You got to. Take care of your tools, they'll take care of you. This thing easily, if I just wanted to keep running and running and running. I mean, this thing coming from Harbor Freight, it's kind of cheap. It's not cheap. I take that back. It does what it's supposed to do. But any of them will end up burned up if you don't do this. Any of them. You can buy what DeWalt one. It's going to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So you do that. You put the lid back on it. And it should get through that piece of metal, going through there. If it was caused by that, if it was that, if it was the fact that it's just going, then it's going. But we'll see. I just take this, stick it up there. And some of the grease will mash out and come out around the sides, and that's okay. That's fine. And then you just find the screws. Well, I'm gonna take these gloves off now before I get stuff everywhere. But you take the screws and put them in here. Put all the screws back, and then you just tighten it down and put the stuff back together. And that grease should get on through, because this thing spins at like, several RPM, thousands of RPM, right? So you don't want to play no games. Even though, like I said, it's not cheap, but it came from Harbor Freight. It was $14.99, and you could buy a year warranty with it, but I just didn't get it. But I say that to say this. Why spend 15 bucks if you don't have to? Just go out there and put some grease in it. Spin it around a little bit, let that grease get to moving around before you tighten it up. That should keep them gears pretty cool. Then you should be able to run it on through. But you got to do that when you buy it. It says on the thing, it says put some grease in it when you first get it. I don't even think it came with grease in it. I think I had to do it. It probably came with a little bit, like it's bulging out the side, but that's okay because I went and I made sure I got grease on it. and it seems to have cooled down a little bit now. So we're going to go back to what we were doing. Try to see if we can get this thing done. Right, so we tighten it down. All the screws are tight. I don't know how much grease is supposed to stay in there, because it sure did most of what I put in there, and I squirted back out, but as long as I got enough in there to keep it lubricated, that's what it is now. I'm going to take the glove that I had previously and just wipe around the edges. You can even put some of that grease back in your thing if you're cheap like me. You know what I'm saying? You don't waste no grease, huh? That sounds ludicrous, huh? Okay. All right, so I've got this. I've maintenanced this. Put this back on. This is the little ring that it sits on, and I forgot the way it go. Yeah, I know. I remember the way it go. It goes in a way that's out of the way. All right, so let's get back to our video. All right, surprisingly it made it through. I put some I did a little maintenance on it, put some grease on to grease the gears on the inside. It had a little bit of smoke that came out of it at first, and then I put the grease on it. It's very, very, very hot. It's so hot that if you look at it, you see the plastic on the side. It's kind of melted on it. But still, even if it doesn't work again, you spent $15. You would have had to pay somebody 25, 30, 40 bucks to cut this piece of metal. And I was able to do it myself. So now I'll probably just go along the edges and kind of clean it up a little bit. And I got me a nice little piece of metal here that I can use for something else. So everything worked out. But hopefully it's alright. Seems to still be working. I can turn it on. So that's the Harbor Freight, you know, the Drill Master 4.5-inch angle grinder. There it is. It's Grind Time Media. Get you one of these things. Does big jobs too. I'm out.